We were all slave races once. Well, slave races, or we weren't useful enough to pull off of whatever mudball we were living on. All of us lived or died to please our masters and the older races. We built their cities, waged their wars, farmed their food. We were even pleasure servants. The older races lacked for nothing and lived off the fruit of our labours. If they needed a job done, and no race that was uniquely suited for the position, they would simply find some underdeveloped race to offer them space travel, and then press the entire population into slavery. Things didn't seem like they would change when humanity started reaching out, looking for trade and exploration opportunities beyond their own borders. The elder race viewed humanity as an upstart species, not nearly as grandiose or ancient as themselves, but still far too powerful to easily be controlled or enslaved without resistance. This, of course, was very frustrating to the elder race, as human workers were the most prized across the intergalactic community. Having humanity as their servants would have made the rest of us obsolete, and we surely would have been cold. Fortunately, it seems that fate had other plans. Early on in trade negotiations, an elder diplomat made the mistake of sending the humans a gift. It isn't that humans are ungrateful. In fact, they have been known to suppress their own survival instincts rather than offend a host, eating foods that are toxic to their biology, or engaging in cultural practices that are beyond their physiology. When the human diplomat received the gift of a harem, of the most beautiful and exotic of the slave species the elders had to offer, humanity chose as a collective to shun the elders, ending negotiations with more expletives than existed in any other language. Humanity embargoed the most powerful spacefaring organization in creation with vitriol. Humanity changed from being the prospective first race to be allowed entry into the Elders' inner circle in millennia, to limiting their contact to various demonstrations about the evil of slavery. Fate took another strike against the Elders when some of these protesters began going missing instead of being deported back to human-controlled space. The horror that rippled through humanity when they learned that their own people had been taken as slaves. Worse yet to them, their children were added to the harems of the ruling elite. It was well known that humanity coming from such a heavy death world were significantly stronger than almost all other races. With their varying climate, they could withstand far greater temperature differentials than anyone else. Their ability to sweat, and other natural boons to their endurance, meant they could stand and fight for days when any other race, slave or elder, would have died from exhaustion. If one were to ask a human what the elders were better than them at, they would have said, they are only better at dying. The way they said it made it sound like it was a common saying on Terra, which made it worse. It wasn't long before the words Xenos delenda est were painted across the side of every ship in the Terran Union. The humans launched a crusade against the Elders. Outnumbered 100 to 1, they fought like dragons, birds of prey, wolves or cornered bears. Military leaders of the Elders would watch and record hundreds of hours of combined human tactics only to discover one thing. Humans didn't have a set doctrine of war. Every commander was different. Every commander changed their tactics for every battle, and every human commander was worth an entire fleet of the Elders. It didn't matter, though. After all, the Elders would simply throw an unending tide of slave army piloting slave-built ships. Humanity, though, isn't just strong or enduring, they are crafty. They began to create bombs they could drop into suns and induce a massive solar flare, wiping out electronics in the entire system. Their fleet would drop in, launch their bomb, jump out, wait for the bomb to go off, and then return to execute rescue and salvage operations. The Elders began to sue for peace, offering back all the human slaves, a massive war chest, as well as massive swathes of territory. The humans' answer? No. They had ignored the Elders' sins the first time, ignored the suffering of their little brothers and sisters. They had sat back idly twiddling their thumbs, while they allowed evil to flourish and thrive. Their words, not mine. They said, all evil needs to exist. It's for good men to do nothing. Well, they were doing something. They said they would stop when the Elders releases every slave, every servant, and made reparations for generations of servitude. The elders balked, of course, saying that was tantamount to cultural and literal genocide, that the humans were trying to wipe them out over spite. Spite was a well-known human characteristic, after all. So, the war dragged on, the humans finding more new and innovative ways to circumvent their massive numeric disadvantage, until they orbited the elders' home worlds with fleets capable of turning a planet to space debris. The humans liked to say that was the easy part. Now they were responsible for hundreds of different races that had their own cultures systematically wiped out, and had known nothing but slavery for hundreds or thousands of years, not to mention the elder races that needed to learn to stand on their own 2 feet, or succumb just as they had warned the humans they would. Humans, of course, are naturally curious and love to learn new things. An entire arm of academia is dedicated towards researching the forgotten past. Archaeologists is the word they have for these people, and they unleash them upon the unsuspecting galaxy with one goal in mind. They searched diligently for years, unearthing any scrap of our history not purged by the elder races, or lost to time itself, slowly giving us our identity back. We would never be the same, but we were no longer just the slaves anymore. Humans, of course, didn't stop at giving us our names back. No. They helped us learn to take care of ourselves. They taught us to farm for ourselves instead of relying on the agri-worlds and the races uniquely suited to tending them. They taught us to make our own tools. Humans taught us medicine, a strange magic that was only held by the elder races, but the humans were still so much better at it. They gave us the technology to actually explore the stars. They taught us to be unified despite our differences. They taught us to trade for what we needed, and they taught us to always look out for our fellows. In time, humanity pushed for the formation of the Intergalactic Federation. Many assumed they would be the leaders of it, but instead every race was given an equal say. Humanity only had a single member. However, the leader of the Federation was almost always a human. The humans often expressed discomfort with regularly being the only race with double representation, but their complaints fell upon deaf and supportive ears. The Federation Parliament was a sight to see in those days, typically consisting of the human representative and the Federation Council man arguing about the different ethics, uplifting a non-spacefaring sentient race, the financial considerations of creating a new hyperspace relay, or whatever else was on the docket. The 2 most diametrically opposed individuals managed to come from the same race, and watching Parliament was compared to watching a human game of tennis. Humanity called us their younger siblings over and over, any time we asked why they were so generous, or why they were the first ones who came when they called. Humans loved us, protected us, took care of us, taught us. They uplifted so many of us. Everything you see around you is only possible because of the humans. Colonized worlds, galaxies at peace, never knowing war or strife or hunger. I hate the humans. I am old enough I can remember them. They were so good. They seemed like gods to us. They even built the elders up to live peaceably. How could they do this to us? I was there the day they left. They spoke through tear-filled eyes. Councilman Johnson, once again calling us their little siblings. But what did they do? They left us. They told us they had come from the Black to protect their family. That we were their family. But what did they do? They left us. Johnson said they needed to leave. That they needed to protect us from whatever was coming. But they left us. It was all a lie. They never loved us. They never cared about us. We were never their family. Where are they now? Their home world is closed to us. All their old colonies are barren and lifeless. They hide in the Black like boogeymen. The humans made us believe we were special, that we deserved love for no reason other than we existed. They protected us and they saved us, but we know better now. We know about human deceit. If they loved us so much, why do they hide in the Black like thieves and pirates? What could be so scary that all of humanity needed to abandon us? The real truth is that humans only waged that war to save their own people, and they only pretended to care about us because they thought it was a joke. We are only a joke to them, and they left us the moment they got bored. If the humans ever do come back, don't trust them. And don't let them fool you into believing they care about you. Even if one dies for you, they are lying. They will abandon you, just like they did before.